Hey guys, PepperAmmy here. This week we are braiding bread. Now this is a basic bread recipe and just adding a literal twist to its appearance to give it a simple yet more homemade style. Now I want to start by combining 1 cup or 240 mils of warm water, 2 1/4 tablespoons of dry active yeast, and 1 tablespoon of honey. Now you can optionally use sugar here, but I chose to use honey instead as it makes it a nice, soft and subtly sweet bread. Now, as normal, this is just to bloom your yeast and make sure it's alive before turning it into bread, and that way you don't get disappointed when your bread doesn't rise later on. But then you just want to let this sit for 5 to 10 minutes until your yeast is bubbly and you can definitely see it is active. Once your yeast has bloomed, you want to mix 1 cup or 120 grams of white flour with 1 tablespoon of oil and a pinch of salt. And mix that all together with your yeast and combine into a paste. Then you want to add around 1/4 cup at a time or 30 grams of flour at a time, or until you have a slightly tacky but not sticky dough. Now I know that this flour takes quite a bit of water, so I just went in and threw in another full cup. And then mix until you can form it into a bowl. Give it a good knead and then place in an oiled bowl until doubled in size. Now once again, your room temperature will vary greatly on how fast this doubles. Once risen, you want to deflate your dough in your choice of method. I like a good old KO punch. Now to braid your bread, if you've never braided bread before, which is probably why you're here, you'll need 3 equal parts of bread. Now my bread was a total of around 625 grams, so I went for about 200 grams give or take for each part and then rolled them into same length logs. Now the thicker the log will mean you get a shorter but thicker loaf, and then a thinner, longer rope will result in a thinner but longer loaf. Then for braiding, you want to focus on the ever-changing middle log and bringing the outer log over the middle. So you want to do left over middle, making the left now the middle. And then you want to bring the right over the middle, which will then make the right strand the middle. Now some people say starting the braid in the middle is the easiest. Now so far so good, you want to flip and start the other half. Now my brain was not ready for the 180 braid flip and completely shut down and couldn't work out which way to go. So I think if I do this again in the future, I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. Now once you have finished your braid, you want to either cover it with a damp tea towel or a lightly oiled sheet of cling film and let sit until once again doubled in size. Now I did slightly overproof mine, so my strands kind of all merged together. But once ready, brush with a bit of egg white or melted butter or even just a little bit of olive oil and sprinkle with some seeds of choice. Now I like a good mix between black and white sesame seeds, but you can use any seed topping you want, or you can even just leave it plain. Then you want to bake in a 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit preheated oven for 20 minutes until golden on top and the bread sounds hollow when tapped. Now you want to let this fully cool before slicing. Personally, I divided mine in half and turned one half into garlic bread for dinner. But anyway, there you have it, a simple braided bread recipe for a nice homely style loaf. And that wraps up this week's episode. As always, if you like what you saw, let me know down below with a like and a comment. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe for free weekly cooking content, and I will hopefully see you all again next time. Thanks for watching.